Hey guys, this is your horny host, Sasha Fierce, and you are listening to an episode of We're All Fucked, a podcast all about sex, dating, non-dating, and relationships with the hopes of improving sexual confidence and skills. Times are crazy nowadays. We should all know how to get fucked the right way. Welcome, all you sexy listeners. Thank you for joining me for the 7th episode of We're All Fucked podcast. Today's topic is the female orgasm. What? There's no such thing. That's totally a myth. That can never happen. Nope, lies. It is very real indeed. Believe me, I experience the female orgasm on a daily basis. So fuck a multivitamin, get wet, get fucked, get off. So I have two very sexy ladies in bed with me today to talk about this very hot topic. Welcome to the podcast, Mo and Ariella.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Mo has been with us before, as you all know, but Ariella is joining us for the very first time. We're so stoked to have you on the show.
Welcome.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited for this conversation.
I know, right? Me too. If you want, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you choose to come on today.
I would consider myself very adventurous. I guess that's probably why I decided to reach out. I saw you post the topic and I was like, hey, there aren't a lot of conversations about, the female orgasm, I feel like. So why not, right? I think,
Absolutely.
I know in my small circle, it's not something that we talk about. But like you and like in your intro, right? I think I experience an orgasm regularly, maybe not daily, but regularly. So I think it's important to talk about.
Absolutely. And like most things sexual, there's hush, especially being young. We don't understand. We don't get it. We're raised to know it's just wrong, except for procreation. And here we are. I think we're all in our 30s and we've, are now grasping the female orgasm, had our experience, learned how to do it if you hadn't already. All right, so I'm very excited to get into this topic, which I actually decided to split into two sections, the orgasm itself and then female ejaculation, because while obviously they're together, I can talk endlessly about both. So for the sake of time, I just want to focus just primarily on the orgasm and how it happens and things like that, a little bit about the female ejaculation. And then next week, we can just dive into, and hopefully we'll have more women involve their experiences so that we can talk about that in full. All right, so again, thank you both for being here. Tell me, Ariella, like you said, you have orgasms regularly. When was the last time you had an orgasm?
Wednesday, I would say. Nice. It's been a couple of days, but yeah, Wednesday.
That's okay. It's tough nowadays. That is even better than most. If you don't mind me asking, was it with yourself or with someone else?
No, with a partner.
Okay, great. Awesome. That's always good. What about you, Mo?
I think it was like last Saturday.
Last Saturday? Your
With
last
someone.
Orgasm with someone?
Yeah.
Okay. And then since?
No.
You've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Okay. That's okay. I don't want to make you feel bad. That's okay. But guess what? Like once a week, twice a month.
This is not
once
normal.
a month. Sometimes it's enough. But I try to do it daily because I need sometimes more. I'm bored. Most of the time it's because I'm horny, but a lot of times it is with myself. But yeah, this morning was my last by myself. Friday was my last with a partner. So I just, as much as you can try to find the time, it's harder for women to have quickie, masturbation sessions. Guys can just do it in a couple minutes. For us, we have to get our...
You gotta be in a zone.
Set the mood.
The legs have to be suspended. We can't just stand there in the shower and fucking do it.
Right.
So true.
Men are it's just so easy. Just hanging around their dick, they can just do it anywhere. We have to literally disrobe. All right, so we're going to get into the basics of an orgasm. Basically, a little bit of sex ed yet again for those who do not know, who may experience orgasms, just don't know how they happen. So they occur when the vagina and the uterus contract rapidly. And that's how you feel those involuntary muscle contractions, your abs, your feet, your heart rate breathing, your blood pressure increases. And if you're lucky, you get to ejaculate. So an orgasm is really like a full body exercise, it sounds like. Yes. All of your muscles spasm out and you get very excited, and then there's the release, and then you have to catch your breath if you have a very aggressive release. And sometimes it's like, don't touch me while I'm just continuing these muscle spasms. It's a good burn. So, yeah, female ejaculation. And ejaculation sounds like such an uncomfortable word. Like, it's not a cute word to say. It's like the hole of the dick, how it was called meatus. It's like, who calls it? It's not cute. It's cum. It's a hole, and so no, ejaculation is what it's expelled from your urethral opening during orgasm or sexual arousal. That's a scientific way. So yeah, you come, you pee from the same hole, just like men do, and more than 69% of women come when they orgasm. Again, this is like a practice. So either they know that they come when they orgasm every single, most of the time, or there are women who orgasm all the time, have tried to come, can't come, but whatever. That's like, 31% of women out there are just like not coming. Maybe they are and they just don't realize it. But probably. Next week we'll talk more and I will teach people how to properly come.
Oh, wow.
Anybody?
That's exciting.
I'm hoping I will be able to do that. So there are 3 ways that a female can orgasm. Actually, there are multiple ways that anybody can orgasm, but for the female, it's clitoral. I call it the bean. Little bean. Rub the bean. The cervical, which is where your cervix is, very deep inside. And vaginally, which is just from the penetration. And so the clitoral orgasms is really just when you just rub the clit over and over again. And it has to be this fluid, circular, back and forth, up and down, consistent. To be able to just grow and explode. And it's really just that. It is.
That's why I like being on top.
Woo! Oh yeah.
Rubbing. That's how
100%.
Other than that.
I know men think that when we're on top, I think a lot of men think that it's just being like it's just regular sex, but it's because of the clitoral stimulation. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really like the tiniest little most sensitive thing on our bodies, and that's why it's like, where's the clit? Nobody can find the clit, and it's just, like because it's so tiny, but it's right there, and that's why it's so easy to miss it when you're rubbing all over the fucking place, and it's like trying to find a little tiny like you remember those little silver balls that came in like keychains or whatever to I'm sorry, the keychain chains that have little silver balls that are, you know what I mean? It's like finding one of those little things in like a carpet. It's like, oh, let me just rub around.
It likes to play peekaboo.
What'd you say?
It likes to play peekaboo.
Exactly. It's like, I thought I saw it. So I'm sorry, men. It's a little challenging to find, but you got it.
Once you find it, yeah.
A huge one. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They look like dicks.
There are women who have very large clits that look like dicks. They're technically underdeveloped penises. They're as sensitive as the penis. They're basically the same thing. And so, yeah, some women, I have not a tiny one. I have a medium size. No, like maybe. Yeah, but some women, Google it, everyone. Google large clit or biggest Ripley's, believe it or not. So that's just easy. And when I masturbate, usually I just do that. I just do the clit and I call it a day. But other times I do the other fun stuff, which is vaginal and cervical orgasms. So the vaginals are not very rare, but more rare because of the A spot, which I don't know if anybody's really heard of that. I didn't hear about it until I started researching this. But the G spot is deep inside. The A spot is right frontal vaginal wall, and it's home to the anterior fornix, and that's why it's called the A spot, because it's the anterior. So yeah, with fingers, toys, a dick, anything that's wide enough, has girth, that can stimulate that A spot, focuses the pressure on that front wall of the vagina while sliding that object in and out while remaining that pressure. That's how you get an orgasm from that. So when you get finger fucked, if somebody finger fucks you good enough, that's how you can have that.
Things to try.
It's probably kind of more when you thinking personally, if I were to masturbate with a toy, that's probably when I hit the A spot, right? Yes. Rather than when I'm having sex with a partner.
Most likely, yeah.
They're more than likely not going to hit the A spot because they're going to go deeper. That makes sense.
And I guess there is that combination, right? Like you said, when you're on top, there's the clit stimulation as you're rubbing, there's the penetration, there's possibly hitting the A spot, which is a little bit more lifted. So in that, I mean, it's probably easier to do reverse cowgirl, but then you have that cervical. If it's deep enough, you have that cervical. So you can have 3 stimulations contribute to that one orgasm, not even know it. And that's why a lot of women like to be on top. They orgasm better. I know I do. And yeah, and anally as well, like just being on top and having all of that, have all of your body parts that get stimulated are all connected right there, and the man or the woman is just right underneath it to just help just help keep it all stacked together and put together. So cervical orgasms, like I just said, is when you go really deep. So, you know, guys, whether or not you have a big dick, most of you don't, it's fine. Don't be mad at yourselves about it. When a woman is like deeper, you can still go deeper.
Yes,
you know, you
can
can still make it work. You can put
different
part of
positions.
your different positions. Yeah. And so really what they're trying to accomplish without knowing, because I guess we just hear it on porn, deeper, harder, faster, harder, is we're just letting you guys know that we're really close to a cervical orgasm without even realizing it.
True.
So when you hit that as well, it can just, you know, that's all you need, literally. But yeah, I did read that it's easier to accomplish cervical orgasms doggy style, starting slow and going very fast, like most sex. But I think with vaginal stimulation orgasms, the secret, and as I've been reading, is start slow, gradually increase, and keep that pace.
That's what you do. It sounds realistic.
It is.
I like that.
It's realistic for most people, but I think some guys, they can just, some women, they don't need that much. But I think with women, it's that it has to be a gradual increase. I think that women just feel more comfortable getting to that point. I don't think, like, I can premature ejaculate, come too early, and then come more later. I think that for a lot of women, it's like that gradual, and then it's that big one explosion at the end, if anything, or multiple, whatever. Everyone's different. So yeah, so those are the 3 main ways that you can have orgasms: vaginally, with the clit, whatever. Anybody can really have orgasms from anything, but nipples are full of nerve endings also. So when stimulated, they can set off your genital sensory cortex, and that's the same feeling as the clit or vaginal stimulation.
I think it's underrated. I think people don't pay enough attention to the nipples. They kind of get left behind.
Have you guys ever had an orgasm from nipple play?
Not interested.
Not
Just
interested?
by itself.
Not by itself?
Mm-mm.
You don't feel anything? Did you get them pierced?
No, I just don't.
You just don't have the proper nerve endings?
It doesn't feel good. It's just like.
Really? What about your ears or neck or anything like that?
Like certain
There?
parts, yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure you're not a fucking
abnormal.
robot. Like why aren't you feeling things? You don't feel your nipples?
It doesn't turn me on.
My nipples are everything. My nipples are almost as sensitive as my clit. My nipples are, and personally, but I not everybody's that way. I have extra nerve endings, I guess. I can orgasm from nipple play, and my guy is one of the best people to do it. And yeah, I haven't been able. Sometimes they're sloppy, and it's like, okay, this feels good, but he does something else unbelievable that I'm just like, did you really just fucking do that in less than 5? And I can orgasm, not necessarily always come, but I will definitely orgasm. I've orgasmed 2-3 times from just playing.
Wow.
Sucking them, playing with them, squeezing them.
I'm jealous.
Isn't it wild?
Yeah, I'm jealous too.
I could just sit there. Try. I don't know. I maybe you should just. I have to find somebody very talented at doing it.
My nipples are weird. They don't.
Okay, well we'll just have to get you another set of nipples. I'm really upset that you don't feel your nipples, coming from somebody who comes from or has orgasms over nipple play.
I just say stop, please. It's not. I don't feel anything.
That's really annoying.
But Mr. Big, he loves that shit.
Yeah, my man loves that shit too. He could do that for hours.
He likes it done to him.
Nipple play?
Yeah.
Yeah, some guys like that too.
So I think that's a very sensitive area for guys too. I think a lot of guys like that, yeah.
Do you like licking his nipples? Do you
I
mind
haven't gotten
that?
there yet.
It's funny when it's just like flat. It's just like it's like an envelope. It's like, why am I licking this? Like men's nipples are so tiny. They're okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll have a whole episode on men's nipples and how to stimulate them. Oy. This is one of my favorite ones. Anal sex. Hey. prostate, which we talked about last week. So when we talked about anal sex last week, we did mention with men that there is a prostate there, and that's where their G-spot is. You don't have to have a prostate to have an anal orgasm. So yeah, there is a G-spot there for us as well. It is between the rectum and the vagina. So you can indirectly stimulate it by using a finger or a sex toy. So you can rub. So it's better to like rub the outside of the asshole, kind of warm it up. Obviously have a lot of lube, like I said. Circle it. Like try to like get it a little wide. Caress it. Use a sex toy. Have a small vibrator, just rubbing on the clit so that everything becomes more relaxed. And then that way the asshole gets loose, and then you can slide it in, pick up the pace and focus, and go back and forth, and you can have that done as well. So through the ass, you can have your genital, like I said, the genital sensory cortex, and clit, vagina, cervix, nipples, and anus. And then mind control is the sixth one.
What?
You just will it to your
underrated too.
Just tell yourself to have an orgasm. Think about all of this sensory. So it's basically sense memory, where you're going back into the memory of having sex with somebody or playing with yourself or something like that, and you think about it and you think about it and you think about it. You don't touch yourself, and you just, it's almost like a wet dream for men. It's
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, it's like, they like think about sex and they come in the middle of the night. So
I was gonna say, do you think it's the same thing, like when you have a dream and you feel like you're having an orgasm and you wake up and you're like, wait, that felt so real?
Has that happened to you?
Mm.
Isn't that crazy?
Lots of times.
Yes, and I would get up
Mad
and
as
like,
hell.
woo!
Mad as hell, the dick left me. Where'd the dick go? How dare they? Where's my money?
Where's my...
And then you're like, oh shit, it was a dream. Nobody's ever here. The toilet seat is down.
I'm like, hello?
I'm tripping.
Are you still here? Oh, okay.
I'm like, let me go back to sleep and try to finish it.
Sleep already. What's wrong with my brain?
One of these days, we're going to really be able to learn how to control our dreams. It's going to be a nightmare. Oh my God. But yeah, Lady Gaga once told New York Magazine, sense memory is a powerful thing. I can give myself an orgasm just by thinking about it. And yeah, you totally can. You probably have to be a very spiritual person and meditate for like hours before you can do that. But no, I'm sure you'd have to be very in tune. I mean, I feel like that's kind of like when you, like I said, like with the nipple play, or like even like, well, actually,
the goal.
I think it's just focusing on the goal. I think if you just really think about it, it'll happen.
I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna work on that this week.
And then we'll regroup next week. And Mo's eyes are like, oh, I'm thinking about it right now.
Right?
So really, so those are the basics of orgasms, right? Those are the 6 ways that females can orgasm, and some men can, do the same orgasms as well. But yeah, so I want to get into some fun facts, which I want to call pussy points.
Oh.
Because they're bullet points, but they're about the pussy. I'm trying to be as sexy as possible, but I'm too corny. So let's get into pussy points. All right. So males and females, the difference between their orgasm is the length of time. So for women, 13 to 50 seconds, men about 10 to 30 seconds. So for both, the average is 20 seconds. Now, when I have an orgasm, even if it's multiple ones in between, if I took a break, I would have to count how long that happened or whatever. I want to say probably 10 to 20 seconds, my personal average, maybe longer.
It depends for me. Like, it could be short, and if it's really intense and passionate, it could be a very long orgasm.
True. And I'm going to touch on this in a little bit, and I think that it's like a mixture of, is this the initial orgasm lasting, or is this just the aftermath of me just dealing with it? Is this multiple orgasms? Am I giving myself a break between, or am I thinking of this as all one thing? Depending on a lot of things, it can be different things.
True.
I probably have had an orgasm as long as 50 seconds, but now I'm trying to beat that record. Have an orgasm. I'm sure there's somebody who has had the longest orgasm. I don't know how you can control that. You'd have to put all the things on your brain and like connect it to a machine and be like, oh my God, this is how long you're having an orgasm. I wonder if they're doing studies on that now.
Probably in the Guinness Book of World Records. It has to be.
It has to be.
It has to be someone.
I want to get paid to give my blood, to have orgasm studies, trying to get that money in different ways during COVID. There are too many people unemployed. There need to be jobs out there like this so that people like me have content for their podcast.
Hey, look, look, you just said it. There's a market for it. Why not, right?
Sex means money. So for women, multiple orgasms are easy after the first one. For men, there is a refractory phase, which means that they can't come during that period of time. For some men, it's only a couple of minutes, and for other men, it's like days.
Oh.
So it can be like 3 minutes to like 3 days. Like there are some men who just can't come. They need to build it up, or they have a mental, block, where on average they just can't come again. I've been with people who are like, oh, that's it. I'm done until I see you tomorrow.
True.
Wow.
For 12 hours.
Like the dentist, we would go rounds of constantly of him coming.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Yeah. So he's one of the rare.
Yes.
I would like to look into. I'm going to do an episode on the male orgasm in the future, but so we'll get into that next week. For women can have multiple orgasms. For me, it takes maybe a little bit to have that first orgasm. Once I have that first orgasm, I can just have multiple. It's just easy for me to just continue to go as long as I go. Probably every couple of minutes after the first one is when the next one might start. Maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10. But I like to control it.
Oh, you can control it?
I mean, I can't control the orgasm. I'm sorry, I can't. And again, this is why I need to talk about this next week. I can't necessarily control the orgasm because they happen. Maybe not every couple, maybe every minute, maybe every couple, 45 seconds, minute. But then the ejaculation happens. I can control that, and I let that happen every couple of minutes.
Got it.
So I'm not sitting having 47 orgasms, and this guy is drenched. I'm like, bitch, I can't. It's been 4 minutes. We have to take a shower.
Fucking
go back. So I try to spread them out.
That makes sense.
Sometimes it's too good. I can't. And I'm like, God damn you. Because there's times where quickies are fine. Now, what's really interesting is that during climax, the area behind your left eye shuts down. So I don't know if you guys, I almost want to figure out if I twitch on my left eye or something, or if it's just a part of your body. But anyway, so during climax, the area behind your left eye shuts down. This is called the lateral orbitofrontal cortex, and it's responsible for behavior and control. And that's why you can't focus on shit other than coming or climaxing. Your brain literally stops and it just happens. You have no control whatsoever once it happens. So that's why if a guy is having sex and he's about to come and he's trying to pull out quick enough, he can't. Because it just happens. Okay. And for women, it's sometimes the orgasm just happens. You can't stop it mid-orgasm. If somebody calls you or answers the phone, it's like, no. And you're like, no, I can't. It's already there. I can't control it. So so the lateral orbitofrontal cortex.
I'm over here.
I'm trying to get my thing. Cut out my whole left eye. Remove that shit. I'm not trying to have any control over my body.
Oh, no.
Can you imagine?
No way.
So another pussy point is that orgasms temporarily relieve pain. Yes. So I don't take pain anything like Tylenol or Advil or Excedrin unless I'm dying. So I have scoliosis, I have back pain, I masturbate almost every day. The days where I don't masturbate, I feel the arthritis in my back a little bit more.
Oh, wow.
And a friend of mine told me that she swore she orgasmed herself out of a cold in 24 hours, my friend in China. So it can do wonders for the immune system. It could do wonders for pain. But yeah, it basically releases the oxytocin, which is the feel-good chemical. It's the chemical that makes you happy. So if you are happy, if you're smiling, you feel good, and it transports through the rest of your body. So having that orgasm will rid you of all of your pain whatsoever, everything. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm so silly. My hammy was messed up, and I didn't feel anything.
Your hamstring?
Yeah.
You didn't feel anything while you were having sex, right?
Nothing.
Oh, just the next day. So Ariella works. Are you a personal trainer, or you're just into fitness?
I'm into fitness. I mean, I'm working into trying to be a personal trainer, but not certified yet.
Awesome. Cool. You're getting there. You do great work.
Yeah. Thanks. So I've heard that before about, having an orgasm can take away like a headache or any type of pain, I didn't believe it. And someone I used to be in a relationship with used to say that all the time, like, oh my God, I have such a headache. You got to help me out. You got to help me out. And I used to be like, you just are trying to coerce me into having sex. And then one day I had a really bad headache and he was like, look, you got to have an orgasm. We got to,
we gotta help each other.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, you were right. Like, this actually worked. Yep. So I had a really bad headache that one day. We ended up having sex and I came really hard and my headache was gone. So I was like, wow, you were right all that time. I wish I would have listened to you then.
Now you're a believer. But it's so funny because as long as we've had Google, and you really should be Googling anything that you're questioning or whatever, but you forget. Like, sometimes you just forget that, like, you can look into this stuff on your own, but it's so funny, like, however long that you were going, like, thinking, this fool thinks he could just trick me.
Right.
Getting pussy over here having a headache. Hydrate, honey, before you come over. Maybe you wouldn't have a headache, but...
Right.
Holy shit, it does work. It does work. It does a lot. I mean, I don't walk around like I'm the happiest person, but I'm generally happy. And I think, it's that whole, she needs to get laid, if someone's being a bitch or someone's being an asshole. It's like, damn, you need some pussy, don't you? Because you're in a stank mood.
Agreed. Agreed.
And sometimes they're like, I do need it. And I'm sorry to be mean. I just can't help it. Everyone have your orgasms. Stop. So fix all your issues. So, like I was saying before, orgasm aftershocks can be viewed as multiple orgasms. So it's best to try to take your time in between and not try to have all these multiple orgasms or just try to come so many times in one sitting, because you need to let your body just handle that first orgasm and each orgasm, and just the aftershock, the muscle spasms that happen after that orgasm, kind of need to let yourself go through.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to like reset.
Yes.
Almost.
Because they're pleasurable. They're still pleasurable. It's like just like a continuation of that orgasm without you feeling like it. But I love that. Mm-hmm. But aftershocks, yeah. That's like when I literally spasm and I'm like, don't touch me. Like, sometimes people can't be touched. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, don't touch me. Like, as I
think that's how
it will hurt if you touch me. My whole body's freaking out.
That's how I fucked up.
That's how you fucked up your neck? On the swing thing, no?
No.
It was just regular?
I was masturbating.
Oh, wow. Oh, that was she gets injuries. Mo gets injuries because she doesn't stretch every morning, I guess. Remember what happened to my neck and my hamstring? And honey, pull out your back. I'm not carrying you.
She'll call you. She'll be like in an awkward position. She can't get dressed and she'll say, hey, let's not talk about it. Don't ask any questions. Just please, I need help.
One time I almost said, hey, if I get stuck in the sex ring, I might need your help. I'm just testing it out. I don't know how to get out.
Listen, that's what friends are for.
True.
Dialing it with your nose and shit.
Alexa.
Alexa, call Sasha on Paralyzed. I haven't really injured myself, I don't think, with sex with a person, other than the back soreness, or if I'm being banged into a floor or a wall or something, I get my knees bruised. Mm-hmm. But I haven't pulled any muscles, but I definitely will be sore if I'm masturbating long in that position that I put myself in, which is legs up, ass back, computer eye level. And I tense up my body every time I orgasm. So my whole body gets tense, my muscles get tight, and then I release. But if I do that enough times, I'm like, oh, I have 3 hours to kill. Let me see how many times I can come. And then I get up and I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm like, why did I sit there so goddamn long trying to come like I'm 18 years old? You got bored today. Let me go do this. Now I got to spend 3 days doing yoga. Ice packs on myself everywhere. Because I'm like, why are my legs sore? I didn't run.
Oh,
my biceps are sore. What did I do?
And you're like, what happened? Oh,
Either you get your back blown out and your whole body's sore, or you're just in this position with I swear, my legs have to be up. I don't know why. I have to literally put both of my legs on here on my table. Spread eagle. Take the whole vibrator and just... Any simple person would think I'm churning butter if they didn't see the look.
Butter. We're making butter.
Just in here, just.
Oh my God.
All right, enough about me. So if there are people out there who are especially listening to this because they're uneducated or ignorant to this discussion or topic, didn't really have an orgasm, doesn't really know how to do it to themselves or get it by other people, not knowing which parts of your body are sensitive enough to even grant that, because like I said, my nipples are sensitive as hell. I take my bra off and my nipples are like, who's playing with me? And I'm like, chill, like go down, like it's just me and you here, don't get so excited. But if you take a scarf, like if you're a female or a male and you take a scarf or something soft and you rub it around your neck, rub it around your tits, rub it around your pussy, whatever, your ass, try to feel what tickles or what stimulates a little bit most. And then you're like, oh, that's a part of my body that's, like we all know that your nipples are not even
dead as shit.
They could be just painted on for all you know. Oh my God. I'm so upset about that. If anybody has any nipples to donate to Mo,
oh my God.
Nerve endings, one or the other.
Or maybe some tips and tricks. Maybe you just need some new methods or something to help you out.
Maybe. I don't know. They're there, but they're just not.
Do they get hard if you get horny?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
Well, then, so you just don't care.
Maybe it's a mind thing. Maybe you need to do like the mind control.
I think it's a mind thing. I think you just ignore them, like they're just fun.
And you just don't care for it. So you're like, whatever.
Oh, okay.
The first thing that happens to me when I get horny is my nipples get hard and I feel the tingle in my clit. That's immediate. That's the first thing that happens when I get excited or horny, like
my nipples
sexually.
get hard random shit.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but like when you get excited, no, we'll work on you. It's really
needs to be...
like I
feel like what the fuck is wrong?
We're gonna get off
we
of
need
this.
To fix this.
No, tonight we're gonna make some calls.
Maybe see if there's like a market for like titty massages, and maybe you need one of those. I never know.
No, you're absolutely right.
And just focus on that part of the body and just see how you feel.
We need to go to like a holistic, reflexologist or somebody who can like touch your nipple in a spot that triggers, and then now for the rest of your life you can get stimulated with your nipples. We'll figure it out. Me and Ariella are going to do some Google research for you. It's okay, but we got you. You're going to get your nipples back.
Back. They weren't doing shit anyway. But anyway, carry on with the carry on.
I'm so angry about this nipple situation. We may just forget all about the rest of this episode and focus on this. Or if anybody who's listening has any idea what she can do for herself, or if she should just give up and just stick with the pussy and ass, I guess that's about.
I mean, it's been working.
It's been working. All right. We won't touch on it anymore, okay? So every part of your body can be stimulated to the point when an orgasm occurs. So yeah, you can find your most sensitive areas by doing this silk thing, this scarf thing, and then find out where you feel pleasure. I spoke about this with Ray, and I don't think you saw that show Bridgerton. Did you see that? Bridgerton?
I started watching it.
So just a small part of that show, without being a spoiler, is that this person tells another person, please herself, because they come from a time where they don't teach women about anything about sex. They even get thrown into marriage not even knowing what sex is. So they're like, okay, this is how babies are made, I guess. A man says to this girl, you should try pleasuring yourself. Think about me or whatever you think about to get, whatever. And just touch yourself all over your body and just keep touching yourself until you feel a release. And she was like, what? Okay. She was like laying in bed, like doo-doo-doo, like saying prayers and like playing with the lace on her nightgown, and she's just like, oh, I guess I should just start touching my body, and like literally 30 seconds she had an orgasm. She was like, oh, wow. Okay. You just gotta find it. You just gotta really touch yourself. And the biggest thing, especially with all sex, is relax. If you're not relaxed, it's not gonna happen. If you have a mental block, it's not going to happen. Don't think about what you forgot at the grocery store or what you need for work the next day. It's only a few minutes or an hour or more of your day that you can just set aside everything else and focus on you and your body and the other person's body if there's another person there.
I think it's important that people know how to pleasure themselves before they learn how to pleasure somebody else. It can come after, but I think, as you get older and you have more experiences, I think it's important that you learn that, like you learn yourself and, how to self-pleasure.
I should have even asked this in the very beginning. How old were we all? Yeah. How old were you when you had your first orgasm that I'm assuming you gave to yourself? Because I think most people especially women.
That I don't even know, honestly.
Preteens? Were you a teenager or later in your teen?
Probably was. Like, I was very sexually curious, if that's a thing. Very young, very, very young. So I'm sure I was in my teens when that first happened, but I just don't know when. Can't say.
Yeah, like takes you by surprise.
So maybe
what about you?
12, 13.
And then nobody talks about it when it happens. Like, nobody even talks that. Like, we all get our periods at 12, 13, 14 or whatever. And we're like, oh my God, girlfriend, hey friend, got my period. What about you? But nobody's like, oh my God, I had my first orgasm yesterday. No way, I had mine 2 days ago. Let's celebrate. Cupcakes.
No lie, me and my childhood best friend, she's still my friend, we used to masturbate together.
Oh, good. Well, that is that is a very mature, how old were you? Teenagers?
13, 14?
Yeah? That
Yeah.
young? I did play around in preteen years, like with friends, and like just like looking in the mirror at your pussy, or like telling somebody, "Look at my pussy." Like, hey friend, like does my pussy look like your pussy? I did that with a couple of my neighbors. Yeah, and masturbating we didn't do with each other. I felt like I was the only one that was masturbating, and I grew up conservative. I grew up in a neighborhood that didn't have that many kids. I went to a school that didn't have that many kids, so there weren't that many girls to talk about, girls that I trusted. At least I only had a couple of them, but the ones that I did, I would talk about this stuff. But I felt bad knowing that masturbating and the amount of times that I was masturbating at such a young age, I knew was so not cute. I was like, this is probably a problem. I thought it was inappropriate within myself. I thought that when you get your period, 13, 14, I knew that you can get pregnant when you get your period. I thought that you weren't allowed to masturbate or you shouldn't be masturbating, at least until that age. And then I always felt bad masturbating because I, again, thought that orgasms at the time like were just meant for procreation and having sex with a man. And I didn't really grow up knowing about masturbation. Nobody really taught me about it. I touched myself at a very, very young age. I realized that this was very sensitive. I must have realized it with my nipples. I'm sure my nipples have been sensitive my whole life. But like younger than middle school was when I started to play with myself. And the first time I ejaculated, I think I was about 13 or 14 years old. And I was like, holy cow. Because I saw a porn where somebody could do that. And I just practiced and I just figured out, oh my God, this is exactly what I need to do to be able to ejaculate. But it was me. I was an only child. Like I said, no friends or cousins or anything around. Just my old parents in the living room watching TV and me up there with all types of different devices. Like, what can I put in next? What can I put in next? And then, of course, like most people, I went to Spencer's store to get my first dildo or vibrator, which, of course, I stole because I didn't want any receipt to say that I had it. I was scared that somebody was going to tell my mom. I was like 15 years old. I put that shit right in my boobs. Everybody stole a sex toy from Spencer Gifts in high school. I never
stole, but I did buy.
I only stole it because I was like, if my mother... I had the money. That's what sucks. Like Winona Ryder. Like I had the money, but I just didn't want my mom to find out. And even though I bought a whole dildo and she'll find it, like if she wants to look for it, but I didn't want there to be any like paper record of me.
Right. It makes sense.
So anyway, so I got into it really, really young, and then I was able to learn how to ejaculate myself right before high school. I wasn't able to come with a person until I was I didn't lose my virginity until I was almost a senior in high school. And then I didn't learn how to properly ejaculate with a person until it was later. But I was always having orgasms. Like I always understood my body and touched my body and found my body at a very young age, that I've been having orgasms longer than most women, I think, are especially our age. And I think that knowing that about my body, I was able to easily get into regular sex once I lost my regular virginity and started getting into more things earlier because I was more comfortable with my body. Like Ariella said, you have to know how to treat your body to be able to have somebody do it to yourself or to vice versa. And you just have to be relaxed and know your body. So the G-spot, to get into that, is for any pussy in the area along the front wall of the vagina. So that come here motion with your fingers, where you curl up your two fingers, going inside of the pussy. Like I said, with the A-spot, the finger fucking, you could do that as well. But if you get a little deeper and get a little closer to the where it meets the rectum, that's where our G-spot is, really right there. So that connection between the vagina and the anus and like that really sensitive area right there, as long as that's being stimulated, it's okay. Really cool. So come here, female come. That's basically what you're doing. But finger fucking is just always funny to watch.
I haven't seen that in. I don't
Do
even
you
know.
like getting finger fucked? It's just funny. Some guys get really.
You go for foreplay.
Yeah, they do it a lot in porn, but they get very aggressive, and it's
Oh,
like if you're
no.
gonna do this, then don't do it with your fingers. But it's a good, as you're eating pussy or like whatever,
Yes.
it's a good,
Yeah.
during
That's
that.
probably the only time that I really care for it.
Yeah, exactly. The aggressive finger fucking guy is like you could chill on that. That's not necessary all the time. So again, for those who have not felt an orgasm before, at least you didn't know if you have, it might feel like you have to pee. I don't remember the first time I had an orgasm if it felt like that, but I'm sure it did. Almost like the first time you have anal sex. It's like, oh my God, I'm gonna poop. It's like, no, it's just that area. The pressure is just what you're reminding yourself of. Once you get used to that, this pressure is different sexually than not, then you get used to that and it's easier for you to have that orgasm.
It only happens to me.
What only happens to you?
An ejaculation.
Yeah.
Squirting.
Yeah.
Twice in my life.
Oh, well, good for you. Talk about that more next week. I can't wait to hear all about it and how much your nipples were not involved.
Oh, God.
Anyway. So I don't have any really crazy stories about orgasms other than I have multiple orgasms and I squirt all the time. And I'll talk more about squirting and coming next week and orgasming without ejaculation. I love orgasms.
Who
I
doesn't?
really do.
Feel amazing.
People who don't are people who are not used to it. The prudes, the uneducated, the
ones that
people who
don't
are
know their
scared
body,
of the
I think.
Bible, the ones who don't know their body, the ones that are afraid to know their body. I knew a girl, and if you're listening, sorry, but she was so afraid that she was gonna go to fucking hell if she had sex or had an orgasm or felt horny or anything like that.
That's what she was taught.
That's what she was taught in Catholic school, raised like traditional Catholic upbringing, very strict, very conservative, and I think with three guys, she started to have sex and couldn't even let the head go in because she's just like, I just physically cannot even let this happen. And even with she would be like, I never masturbated ever. Like she tried to have sex in college, but like never masturbated.
Wow.
She just felt so bad that she wanted to like do, and it was just a whole mental thing for her. She had a baby like maybe a year ago.
Oh.
And here we are like maybe 15, 20 years after the fact. But I remember being like, what? She was like 8 years older than me and we taught dance together and we were talking about it and I'm like, oh my God, I watch porn all the time. I masturbate all the time. I have like 3 different vibrators. She's like, I never masturbated. She's like, I felt myself, but I like never really like did anything to have like an orgasm or come or anything.
Wow.
I think that's disgusting.
So wait, because I was reading something a few years ago that in order for a woman to actually have a baby, they need to have an orgasm to help the sperm.
It is, yeah. Yeah, so I'm fast forwarding in her life right now. Like I'm sorry, to clarify, she was able to get through it, get married, get pregnant, have a baby. So yes, absolutely. You orgasm when you have a baby, you orgasm, in order to get pregnant. But yes, so she was able to just go something like 30 years, maybe
Without
28
masturbating.
years without an orgasm, which there are people out there who go almost their whole life without having it. And I'm telling you, you're probably angry. You probably have a cold. You probably have a torn hamstring. And you need to fix yourself. Miserable. Get wet. Get off. Get fucked.
I feel sorry for those people.
I do too. And I'm hoping that, again, this podcast is making people feel like, don't feel ashamed. Just get your life together and have more fucking sex with yourself or other people. I don't care who it is.
Awesome release.
It just has to happen. If you're living right now, have as many orgasms as you possibly can. I know you're bored. Nobody's doing shit. It's Corona time.
Right. Explore your body. But I think also what you don't know, like you don't know what you don't know. And then like if you listen to, I guess, people in your circle, what if they've never had an orgasm before?
Exactly.
And you're listening to them.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about like when I was younger, right before I first lost my virginity, I think a couple of my other friends lost theirs and like, oh my God, sex is amazing. Sex is great. And at that time, right, I was young and my boyfriend at that time was young too. So he didn't really know what he was doing. But when I had sex for the first time, I was like, this is it. This is what you guys think is amazing. I was like, it's okay. Until you finally, are with a partner that knows what they're doing and you have an orgasm, then you're like, oh. So I say that to say, like, people who've never had an orgasm are like, whatever. They don't know. So start exploring your body, figure it out. It's really good.
And that's it. Explore your body. Take your time. You're not going to get it unless you just it's a practice. Like having an orgasm, squirting, coming, controlling it, making it last long. It's a practice. And when we get into the male masturbation and orgasms and stuff like that later, I know a lot of guys have to practice not coming right away. So they go as long as they can, and stuff like that. True. So women can do the same thing. See how long you can go, that build up. Let me tell you, if you can build it up just like a man can, just give yourself time, experience those orgasms, get to an orgasm, stop yourself. That's what I like to do. Let go of the whole thing, let it calm down, do it again, and then I build up all this shit to have this massive. I have fun. I have so many different ways that I masturbate. I can't wait to teach all of you, or just not teach, but like talk about it. I can talk about it all the time. So yeah, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna finish off with just the tip. I call this combo number 5, and it's literally like a porn scenario. But if you want to have the most ultimate orgasm experience whatsoever, to stimulate all of the areas that you possibly can, you're going to need a couple people, maybe a couple toys, a bunch of hands. But if you can get double penetration in the pussy and the ass somehow, clit stimulation, someone sucking on your nipples, that would make for a very, very fun orgasm. So, but again, that's like porn level. You got to be in a very specific position, and everybody really needs to know what they're doing in order for you to get that combo number 5, which is the clit, cervix, vaginal, anus, and nipple. Right. That's what Sasha calls it. Easy peasy. Combo number 4 without the nipples. Fuck you. Tip number 2. Kegels.
Ooh.
Kegels. Women, do your Kegels. Yes. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. If you don't know what it is, fucking Google it. It's Kegel. Do your Kegel exercises. That will increase your orgasms.
I have weights.
You have Kegel weights. Oh, those balls, those yoni eggs or whatever. So it exercises your pelvic floor. Just do it all the time. Google how to do it. Watch a video. I don't care. I'm not going to get into it until next week. And then the third tip is focus. Like I said, stay relaxed. Focus on the climax. Let it all go. Stop thinking about that bullshit in the middle of your climax that you shouldn't be thinking about. It will ruin it for you. Don't let a phone call ruin it. Somebody walking in, who cares? Finish and then deal with your responsibilities. We will understand. Do you guys want to close off with anything else that you'd like to say?
I think it was all said.
I can't wait. See, we spent a whole hour talking about that. We're going to spend less than an hour, hopefully, talking about female ejaculation. But again, have your orgasms, please. Preferably before lunch. All right, guys. So please always remember that we are all very lucky to live in a time and place where we get to have sex with who and how we want, and that not everyone is afforded that right. Thanks again to Mo and Ariella for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you guys join us again, hopefully next week if you're available. Thank you so much. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. For more pleasure and direct contact, follow me on Instagram at We're All Fucked Podcast. Or you can email me at podcastbysasha@gmail.com. A huge thanks to our sexy listeners and our guest host for today. I can't wait to see all of you next week for a continued discussion on the female orgasm, focusing on ejaculation. It has been a pleasure getting fucked with all of you. Until next time.